So let's talk about Code Geass.
And there's a lot to talk about here, so I guess we'll start with just focusing on each individual season.
And then the movies?
Yeah, and only the main Code Geass, not any of the spin-offs, 'cause there's a million of them. Or whatever the hell the past one is, or like Nonalee's like superhero one.
Oh, all the manga ones, right?
Yeah, and it's the one with the brother and sister, the blonde guys. I don't even know what they're called.
Hey, it's all canon in the phone game now.
Oh, there's also like the freaking visual novel.
Oh yeah, or the Alice in Wonderland one too.
Oh, that one's least funny.
Yeah, that's actually really funny.
And then there's also the DS game that's that's both good and crap at the same time.
Oh, and the PSP one too.
And they all have like their own version of the story to some degree.
It's so weird because when you watch season 1, it's pretty much like a real robot kind of show. And then like all these spin-offs and later works, it's just absolutely insanity.
Well, that's one thing I really liked about the series. Is the progression of the mechs, because at the start they're just these shitty box things on wheels.
Which I kind of like. It's like Votoms on wheels.
I was gonna say it's Votoms, and but they're basically just tanks, and they can barely even move upwards. Then they start introducing, they have these like grappling hooks, so now they can like swing around and like smash into buildings and shit, and they can go up. Then they create like, there's a thinner version. Here's the Lancelot now, and it's fast. And then they slowly keep moving up, and eventually they introduce jetpacks and then flying, and then they start creating the Hadron cannons. So now you got like your big ass Gundam lasers, and then by the end they've got these crazy laser wings, and they're all flying around. And it's now the Super Robot show. Like
that's I can't think of any other show that has this progression, because it's like you said, like it wasn't just all of a sudden they're suddenly super robots.
The only thing I think of is like if you look at the UC Gundams, and that's over the entire freaking franchise.
Yeah,
like you start at the basic ass Gundam, and then they slowly start getting bigger and better and faster.
I guess it's because they don't really focus on like research and development in that show.
Yeah.
But in this one, because like the main character is one of the scientist dudes, and you actually see him like developing the stuff.
Both scientist dudes, because Lucia has the woman who's a scientist, and she makes the Gurren, and the other guy makes Lancelot.
Yeah.
And they're basically just competing. It's basically just a mini sub story, basically.
It's really interesting too, because like you don't think about it, but you're just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things, and actually, like, it gets a little nuts with just how fast it goes.
Yeah.
But it still feels somewhat natural, at least. Especially because you see the shitty wings in the first half of 2, and then eventually they get the crazy laser wings.
I think the other thing too is like each like upgrade was presented as this major breakthrough. Like the grappling hooks, I remember they're like, whoa. Or even the Gurren's arm, there's just like, holy shit, like what the hell's going on now?
And then like the big upgrade for that is to make it like give it like 2 arms. Oh no, they can shoot the arm laser now, and then eventually they give it wings and make it fast as hell.
Like despite all these upgrades, the main mechs, they don't really visually change. It's not like in Gundam where like, okay, like your old Gundam got scrapped, here's a brand new one that looks different. It's like it's still a base model that looks the same. You know what I mean? Like the Gurren always looks almost all the same.
I like more of the half point, because I like some of the Gundams where they're like a more advanced version of the previous one.
Yeah.
Not when they completely scrap it, but like if you look at the wing and the wing 0, you can still see like how you went from 1 to 2. But like, yeah, I don't want complete change unless you get the strike freedom. Because like the strike wrap, bulky ass red wings and all that shit, and then you get the beast of all. It was so But yeah, with Code Geass, I think the only real big visual change is when they add the wings.
It's not like clunky metal wings. It's like energy plasma laser wings. It's like
they never explain how that works, but
yeah, I know.
Because they do start off with the big bulky like jetpack metal wings, and then they go to the laser wings.
Probably GN particles.
Yeah, or Hadron. That's the big GN thing in this one, the Hadron energy. I think that's just basically taking the Hadron Collider and making it into a weapon, and then adding a dose of anime into it, because I don't think Hadron Colliders can do that.
Well, apparently those can tear a hole in space and time.
Let's make wings out of them.
Yeah.
Let me get a gun and just shoots one, or lose just dumb mech from the first one that's always doing like the Christ pose.
Yeah.
And then just shoots lasers out of his chest. Yeah, I'm not sure what the first one's called, but it's a black one that's always doing the Christ stare. Like it's from a Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah.
And it just shoots a big red blast out of his chest.
That's the problem with Lelouch's mechs. To me, they're not iconic enough because he's not a mech pilot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the second one's hilarious though.
Like I remember the Gurren and Lancelot way more.
They're the ones that get shown all the time. They're actually really good
Yeah.
things. But his second one's hilarious because his second mech is the one with the piano
Oh
input.
yeah.
And that's the one that does this weird thing where it shoots the prism out and then shoots a laser into the prism, so then the prism shoots lasers everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's actually a pretty creative way of using a prism with lasers. But yeah, but that's the one that has the fucking piano controls. And I have to wonder who did it first, Final Fantasy X-2 or Code Geass R2? Because at the end of X-2, the final boss, the big like Vegna gun monster, it's controlled by a piano.
It's funny because I think of Gundam Wing and Gundam Seed with Hiro and Kira. There's shots of them like piloting their mech. They basically tack on the keyboards like it's a piano too.
Season 1, I guess we should start with, right?
Yeah, the more like down to earth season.
Well, that's the other one. The criticism with 2 is right. It just goes so nuts, and like every episode has like a sport, not sport. What do you call it? Cliffhanger ending.
Yeah,
And it's so wacky and stupid. But like if you actually go back and watch some of 1, it does a lot of that itself too.
but it's just because like the setting is more grounded, I guess.
It's a bit more grounded at this point, yeah.
Because there's no like I think a lot of it too is the technology. Because like the whole robots are all just shitty tanks.
Yeah, and true. There's no floating fortress Disneyland shooting nukes.
Yeah, or even just like a floating like Archangel like type ship, whereas your home base is like a flying ship, you know?
Yeah, or any of the weird ass stuff that was going on with the Geass history.
Yeah,
That was so random because it comes out of nowhere.
like I'm trying to think. There was something else like this where they start going into explaining some of the more supernatural stuff, and it turns into like ancient history things. It's like why?
Well, I kind of
But
like JoJo to a little bit when they start trying to explain stands, but
I
like,
guess right, yeah.
but at least then it's not a big focus. Whereas here, yeah, at the very end you get Lush guessing God,
uh,
and it's like what? And that's still like the best part of R2 anyway. So
it's so weird because like when you watch the first season, you think it's like okay, it's corrupt dictator king person, and then the main character has to overthrow him, and that's really like I guess it, and it's all about his like navigation through going through the whole family. But like yeah, like there's like weird supernatural powers, but then it's still like kind of not realistic, but it's like I'm just gonna go and overthrow the king. But then season 2, it's just like, no, I'm gonna Gi as God. It's like,
and that's his way of overthrowing the king. But like if you look at some of those thumbnails, like go to stage 19, episode 19, and
yeah.
it's like yeah, they're doing magic shit already,
Mhm.
but it just they don't explain any of it.
When they finally explain it, should they have explained it or not? Because I'm not like 100% sure.
If they just left it at like C2 the witch, that probably would have been better. Because
Yeah,
like the actual explanation is kind of dumb. But then again, even in season 1 though, the entire time, every time they show what's his name, Charles,
yeah,
he's always hanging out in that god place.
yeah. You're right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, even back then they were setting up something. They just never really went into it.
I don't know. My take was just like generic JRPG villain throne room with
Yeah,
weird floating pillars. Like I didn't think it was like a special type of reality. You know what I mean?
I thought it was because whenever he does a big speech to the people, he's in an actual throne room. But then whenever he's being mysterious, he's in this weird yellow universe.
I don't know. I just never thought it was some weird space time thing with a god at the top. Like,
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, like this is what I was gonna say. Is like one thing about Kogi is that it's like a series of extremes.
yeah.
There is no in betweens. Like either the music is good or it's bad. The characters are either good or they're bad. The episodes are either smart or completely stupid.
Hmm.
The plot threads are either yeah that's good or what the hell is this? Like same with the plot twists. There's good ones and like when they're good they're good. When they're bad they're god awful. Because like Kogi has to like I still like it. But like it has one of the worst written episodes I think in the entirety of anime, and then even 2 is still like some of the plot twists in 2 are baffling.
I don't even understand some of the stuff in season 2, but I guess we'll get into that later.
Yeah, in like an
Um,
hour.
I think I kind of prefer it over season 2.
I mean, most people do.
Yeah.
I love the first episode because it starts off because it tries to do the typical thing where the hero gets the power and then it's kind of like horrified by the power because he winds up killing a bunch of people with it.
Hmm.
But then in this, it slowly zooms in and then Luce like gets this evil ass smile and goes perfect, and that's the end of the episode. And
Yeah.
it's like that's when I was like, okay, I'm watching the rest of this show.
That
'Cause it's
looks
like,
some Death Note shit. I love
yeah, where it's like, yeah, no, he's totally into this.
it.
And like, see, I didn't watch Death Note, so like that was my first introduction to like the anti-hero for anime,
Yeah.
where he's like, nah, yo, killing people's great. Like,
That's the thing about Lelouch. Like, even in season one, he's an asshole.
he's always an asshole, yeah.
Like, given his backstory makes sense, it's still like I love it.
Outside of like Euphemia and a couple others, almost every character in this show is kind of an asshole.
Well, by the end of it, they're all like mass killers. So
Yeah, like I mean, one of Callan's introductions, it's like trying to pull a knife on both on people,
yeah.
like she's a full-on terrorist, and then like, and then you got like and all the Britannians, aside from Euphemia, are full-on monsters.
Except for Cornelia,
They commit genocide with like the casualty of having a tea party.
right?
Like,
Which I guess is commentary, but
oh, fucking Cornelia, Christ.
I was gonna say the best Britannia ever.
That the fact that they whitewashed her, it's hilarious because when you rewatch it, the thing like her introduction is her in like in like the Middle East murdering like the natives by the thousands and laughing and asking for a real challenge. And then her next introduction is her coming back to Japan, finding out that like what's her face, Euphemia, like got away from her security, blowing the security guy in the head, and then attacking a mountain and then committing a genocide in a ghetto
Yeah,
to try
yeah.
just to try to draw Lelouch out. Like she commits like no less than like 3 genocides in the first half of the season, and then they try to make her out to be a hero in the movies.
Oh my god, that's so funny to me.
And even in season 2, they try to make her out to be a hero, but like they don't go in as hard.
I was like, oh, she's a good guy now. Like at the end.
Yeah, because she's basically just pissed off that what happened to her sister and her family doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So now she's gone rogue, but they always try to paint her in a good light until the very end, where for some reason she's part of the freedom fighters.
Yeah, see, that's the part I didn't get. I was like, what? She's on their side now? Oh, I guess a time skip. Like,
And like, I
whatever.
don't think anyone likes that. 'Cause I remember like they released a bunch of images after the show, and like one of them is like her and Callan hanging out together,
Hmm.
and it's like, and people got really pissed. It was like, yeah, look at Callan hanging out with like the person who genocided like thousands of Callan's people.
All
Man,
right.
let's hang out, and be girls. Like,
Oh my
you were
god.
on the right. She's Orochimaru.
Yeah.
You're
Oh
on
my
the right
god.
side
Yeah,
at the
you're
very end, so you go to escape any like consequences.
right. What about Villette?
Oh yeah, she's another one, but she didn't sit and commit genocide by the thousands. She's just a soldier that killing people.
It's still pretty bad.
He's still pretty bad, but she's not the one giving the orders and laughing as she's doing it.
Yeah. And I guess her amnesia arc redeemed her. I don't
No,
know.
I didn't. She immediately goes back to the bad guys the second she gets her memory back. To be fair though, I don't blame her.
I don't either.
It's fucking creepy. Like, yeah, this guy, he's gonna keep you in his house.
You're not allowed to leave.
Yeah, not allowed to leave in case you remember who you are. I'm not gonna try to help you get your memory back.
Hey, at least that's good foreshadow of how bad Ogi is. Like,
Oh god, like, that's what I'm saying too. It's like that's like the characters. Like either they're good and not in terms of like being good people. They're either good characters or they're fucking awful characters.
yeah.
It's like everyone loves Charles, even though he's a monster. What about remember Nina though? Nobody likes her. Or nobody likes Ogi.
Well, here's the thing though. Charles, like, people like him for obvious reasons. His voice actor, you know what I mean? In the Japanese dub, at
Even the
least.
English version though, people like he's a large ham and
Yeah.
so like he's a fun character.
Hey, I guess that's how you make Nina like us. Make her go crazy. Large ham it.
Yeah, but she large hams it by getting it off a table.
Or the look on her face. I forgot why she screams like that. It's because Yuffie
Oh,
died,
that's
right?
when Yuffie dies. Yeah,
The look on her face.
she like, and that's in season 1. This stuff like they were even wild back then. Like, what was the deal with the freaking table coon scene?
I have no
And
idea.
what did that add? Like, there's random parts of this where it's like this is clearly like the director's fetish.
I feel like season 1 was just like some weird, like, try hard, gritty personal story where it's more like a few characters interconnected with each other, and then season 2 is just all the nations and like bigger factions and stuff, you know?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah. One is kind of gritty-ish, but it's not like full on edge.
Well, it tries to, I mean.
It tries to be towards the end when you start getting like when Luch gets all pissy after killing Euphemia.
Yeah.
That's when he's got like the red eyes and he's like killing people and laughing about it while crying. And it's like fuck you. Now this character's lame.
To be fair, how he killed Yuffie is really stupid.
Oh god. Don't even get me started. That'll be I could go on for a half an hour about that alone, or an hour even.
It's the funniest thing ever that I'm not even sure if it's meant to be taken seriously.
That's the thing. Like I can't tell.
Like, was it just a smart way to like subvert these kind of like anime tropes? Where it's like, hey, look what happens when you put real life into it. No, because like normally like some stupid shit happens, and they're like, oh, of course it only happens in like a show like this. In real life, if they did this, it would end up like this. I feel like that's what they want to do with the
But
Geass.
it wouldn't because if in real life she would have been shot instantly.
Well, I don't know, because they'd probably be like, oh, you think it's so funny and cool with this power? Look what happens when you accidentally say the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
But that's the stupidest thing though, is that like it just activates on its own, and it only happens because of a magic power. That's so you think real life. If this is real life, none of that would have happened because
Well,
they would just had a conversation.
wasn't the whole point was that he was losing control of his eye anyways?
It doesn't. They don't really hint at it because like I think every now and then leading up to it, you see his eye like flash a little bit and it hurts.
Because they had Mao to establish that what happens when you lose control and it
But
stays on
C2
permanently.
doesn't warn them about it, and at no point do they warn about overusing it. The only warning is Mao, and even then it wasn't. He just couldn't turn his powers off permanently.
Yeah.
There at no point did they go, Lelouch, you be careful how much you use your power.
I feel like that was like a plot point they came up with afterwards.
It is, especially because afterwards he basically starts guillotining the entire fucking city.
Yeah.
I'm gonna overuse as much as I want. Like,
It's kind of funny though when you think about it. Yeah, it's pulled out of their ass, like overusing it. But like you said, he really does overuse it, so it makes sense, you
but
know?
no, but he only starts overusing it to hell and back afterwards. He like leading up to it, he only did it to like I don't know, a hundred people maybe.
That's not a lot.
Afterwards, but no, but afterwards he does like 1,000 because like the only way his plan works in episode 24 is that he gears like half the city.
Yeah.
When he blows up the entire freaking city somehow,
Oh yeah. Oh my
and the
god, yeah.
explanation is that he just basically gears everyone into like planting bombs or destabilizing the city themselves, so he doesn't have to do it. But like what did Lelouch do leading up to episode 24? Did he like run around like spend like a week running around the entire city gearing literally everybody he could?
Honestly, it doesn't surprise me because the dude's so prepared for everything. He's like, hey, I might need you in the future, so
And like nobody fought, like none of his friends fought. Hey, why is Zero running around town looking at people? It's the episode 2 for 22 is called Bloodstained Yuffie, and it may as well be called a series of highly convenient and unfortunate events because it is the
Uh,
most like every single thing that happens is a fucking asshole plot where it only works if this specific thing happens and then this specific thing happens and this specific thing happens. Like remember the convenient thing that gets completely forgotten when like for some reason whenever Suzaku interacts with C2 he like freaks out and like goes nuts.
yeah.
And then that never comes up ever again after season 1.
Was he was already geared at that point, right?
Yeah. But he freaks out to her the first time when they meet in the on the mountain,
Mm.
and then it happens again where he touches the mech, and somehow that forces
Oh yeah.
knocks him out, so that way he can't stop Euphemia in the when she goes nuts. And it's like that happens, and also C2 just happens to be knocked out too somehow, even though she didn't get knocked out the first time around. And then so neither of them can stop it, and then none of the soldiers question this thing, even though her eyes are glowing red. And then the whole thing just falls apart. None of the Black Knights who are there on Thing just pull out a gun and just pop her. And then she's able to wander around the entire town shooting everybody, and all the people fall. Yeah, our princess who's been preaching about peace nonstop for her entire life suddenly wants to kill everyone.
I'd be running at that point.
Like the soldiers are all like, yeah, there's nothing weird going on here with our glowing eyes princess who's acting like a nutcase now suddenly. Let's just kill people. Woo! Like they're all like psychos, I guess. And fucking Lelouch, I don't care how unhealthy he is. He can't run faster than a girl in a big ass dress with high heels on.
That's the thing. It's like, did they like establish he sucks at running just for this like moment?
Yeah, in episode 6, it's the one where his mask is stolen by the cat, and he can't run faster than a cat.
Yeah.
But it's like, and then like, oh yeah, and then like all the people run past him, and you see him flop down right into a bush. But like, it's so stupid that's it. That's what you establish him being as bad at running for,
Oh
and it
my
still makes
god.
no sense. How unhealthy is this motherfucker?
I kind of like that he's not your traditional like main character. Like he sucks athletically. He doesn't really pilot a mech that well, and he never really fights either.
But then he can do
Like,
all this crazy bullshit anyways later on afterwards. But
well, no, even in the newest movie, he barely pilots the mech, and when he does, it gets absolutely totaled.
yeah, I guess. But I'm just like, he doesn't seem like a guy who has a very low constitution. He doesn't get tired easily anywhere else. It's only when running.
Well, like even at the end when he tries to run to catch OC2 at the end of the like third movie or fourth movie. He's like
He
out of breath.
dying out like that was funny.
Yeah, right? I'm like, okay, like at least they still brought it back.
Well, it's just
Like,
like every single event. It's just like that's just one part of it. Every single event that happens in 22 is it's like written by people who are on drugs. Even the thing that the joke itself is the most highly specific garbage ever. Why I can command you to like, kill everybody. Woohoo! What a joke.
just that's something else.
Just as
But,
his eyes turn on by against will.
but isn't it also to show that like I don't know, I think like Lily's just like socially awkward. Like who the fuck makes that kind of joke?
No, because he never does that kind of thing anywhere else. He never does any other kind of like. I guess the only other time he's a bad joke is when C2 goes back in season 2 is like in Lose Her Memory. But even then, it's not a bad joke. Like
Or like how he proposes to her, the whole L2 joke.
yeah, that's just because he's awkward with romance. But like everywhere else, he seems like a normal person.
Well, wasn't it established that he had like a crush on Yuffie anyways?
I guess, but like that's still like why would that explain the weird ass joke, dude? Like, come on, are you seriously trying to argue that this fucking thing is written well? I'll turn this thing off right now. That if you're gonna try to argue that's
I
episode
don't know.
22, I'll turn it off right now.
I'm just looking for a reason. I don't know.
No, it's trash.
Okay.
Every single part of this. Okay, now explain Suzaku. Why does C2 just randomly pass out? Like last time is because I think he touched her directly or whatever. Oh no, she actively uses her power on him in the first one. Here he touches the mech and somehow that triggers her power, and that never comes up ever again.
I feel like down the line they were going to give Suzaku a Geass, and it just never happened.
I think wasn't that actually revealed to be the actual plan?
I have no idea.
Because that was supposed to explain how he's such a like a superhero badass that he can run faster than bullets and spin kick a freaking machine gun off a wall.
Yeah, or at least he has some kind of like Geass experiment. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's supposed to explain why he's so like physically capable of this spin Zaku shit.
He's basically Captain America.
Yeah, the most whack ass one is still like when he runs on a wall and spin and fly kicks a turret before it can shoot him.
Or even like when they do the coup, he just spin kicks the fucking axe and it explodes.
Yeah,
It's just like what the fuck.
it's whack ass because like he drops down from the sky and they show up there. There's nothing for him to have been standing on, and then he spin kicks metal and breaks it. Like what the fuck is this dude? And he's wearing a school uniform. It's not even like he was wearing like metal-toed shoes or some shit. Like
Hell, he basically survived his mech exploding at the end.
yeah, they don't explain how that happened. I mean, they eject. That's one thing I like about the mechs is that they all have the big ass like pilot section that can shoot out and have a little parachute on it. That's one thing I like. Is, yeah, the big ass weird mech part, and then it just blast out the back so he can escape. But I guess that he did that, but Talon didn't see it in the explosion.
It's like stupid.
Like I think that's and that's actually been Geass already. I think.
I honestly, I think it's like, wasn't C2 captured by like Britannia before Lelouch freed her?
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I guess maybe there's something about Suzaku being some kind of like Geass experiment thing.
Yeah, but they never went with that, right?
Yeah, but my point is, I think like early planning stages, there's just like throwing shit at the wall, seeing what sticks.
That would also explain why he had a weird reaction to her early each time, right? If they actually had her Geass him a long time ago,
or like they're somehow related. Like they used her cells to like give him a super soldier serum.
Oh god, yeah, I was gonna make the exact same joke. Super soldier serum.
Yeah, it's Captain Britannia.
Yeah, but yeah, like, at least that. Yeah, but in the end, they never bothered to explain why he's a superhero.
They just kind of went with the whole like anime meme thing, where it's like, yeah, he's just like that. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of that though, where there's like things really they kind of don't really explain it.
And then like they set it up, and then they don't explain it. But then like I'm just trying to think how different the show would be if they went a different way. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can ask that question for a lot of things.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. I feel like for this show, because like you said, like a lot of like plot twists are stupid. Like
that's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm surprised that they did what they did with Euphemia because I thought a way better thing would have been is that her plan is basically just like she's just gonna create this little section in Japan for the Japanese people and they can govern themselves and totally the Britannians will totally not mess with them ever.
Yeah, it's like
it sounds like a good idea, but it's not gonna work. The Britannians are assholes. Like,
did they ever? I can't remember the details, but did they ever establish that like no one on Britannia really agrees with Yuffie?
They did.
Yeah. Okay. So
because they showed them being all mad and like Cornelius like, what the hell? What are you doing?
Yeah. So yeah, it would make sense that she did like get her way. It wouldn't work anyways.
Yeah. And so like for some reason, Luch actually created the best plan ever, and he's all butthurt because somebody's gonna save Japan and not him.
Just stupid.
He's just like a whiny little bitch. But like they could have easily explored it falling apart. That could have easily been the last 5 episodes, and then you can still have a massacre happen anyways. Because surprise, Britannia wasn't going to play nice about that.
I mean, like, even after Yuffie died, you could have still adapted her plans, but I guess Lelouch is like, fuck that, I'm not stealing. Because, like, yeah, he did treat like the biggest thing ever, but it's like, well, why didn't you follow through with it then, even after she died? You don't need her.
Yeah, I know. It just completely forgotten. But I thought it would have been way more interesting to actually explore that, because then they could have actually turned Euphemia into a real character. Because surprise, your Sunshine Lollipops thing didn't work out. Now how does this character deal with that? Especially if it turns out that the Britannians were behind it falling apart.
Yeah.
That'd make for a good like, okay, now what do you do, princess? Like,
Yeah, like, instead of just turning her into a fucking Terminator, they just slowly, like, made her realize, oh no, like, my plan was actually bad. People are actually dying, it's all my fault, you know what I mean?
and yeah, things kind of suck. So like,
Yeah.
does she become like does she like go nuts, or does she join the good guys? Like,
Yeah,
they could have done
exactly.
something, but they didn't.
Yeah, instead, just, like, shock value.
Yeah, the whole thing is just a giant shock value episode.
Trying to find out how many episodes was she even in?
Kind of early
Was
on, actually.
oh, okay. So to say, like, I just feel like she is just introduced for the sake of like pissing off Suzaku. You know what I mean? Like, so she gets introduced in the fifth episode, and then she dies in the 23rd. But I don't know anything in between.
She hangs out with Suzaku for a while. Then she makes him her knight,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then like she tries to stop him from killing himself on the island, and that's how she gets caught up in the whole thing.
I guess like they just want to make Suzaku hate Lelouch more, so they're like, all right, kill her.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's like, we need these two guys to turn into Naruto and Sasuke, or Afron and Kira, or they need to yell each other's names really loud.
Who started that trend? Was it Seed or is it Naruto?
I don't know. Depends. Because Naruto and Sasuke owning each other only started at the very end of the first season or first series, right?
Yeah.
So I think it might be Seed.
Yeah, it was like two pretty boys who used to be friends, and now they hate each other and had to fight each other. And I was
Because
just like,
yeah,
wait a minute, that's Kogias, that's Gundam Seed, that's Naruto.
yeah. Because I'm pretty sure Seed ended before Naruto's first OG Naruto ended.
I think Seed started airing in like 2002 or 2003.
Hmm.
Huh, wow. So much for originality.
Yeah, it's just that, and there's one that had that I hated that. There's a whole clip online thing of like every single dumb anime friend yelling at each other.
Doesn't surprise me. Or hell, Tales of Destiny did that too with Leon and Stan.
Yeah.
Leon!
Those.
What else in season one of Code Geass? What about the supporting cast? Like Lelouch's classmates. They're so great, right?
The weird thing of Cookie is that like you have your core characters, and
Yeah.
then you have the nothings. Like almost every side character is worthless, and I don't know why they're in the show.
Only one that really mattered in terms of like Lelouch's classmates is Nina.
Yeah, because like Shirley doesn't matter. Like that's why they changed her dying in the movie, because like it does add nothing. This character dying. Oh no, not the character that never did anything.
Well, I guess they tried to use her to humanize Lelouch, or at least show you how far gone he's been. But like, that's not what I got.
That's not what I got either, because he's already into C2 at that point.
Yeah.
Like, so like whatever. He bounces back pretty easily. The thing that makes him go nuts is getting betrayed.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like they didn't develop his
Relationship with her.
yeah, or regular life long enough because he instantly gets introduced to C2 and the powers.
Yeah, true. Because like Millie was supposed to be like the only person who knows who Lelouchans not only actually are. That
Yeah.
never goes anywhere.
God, I forgot. Yeah, not only is a character too, like
At least she matters to some degree. But
yeah, but it takes until like season two for her to finally like
do anything. Yeah, she's
yeah.
worthless in season one. She's just there to be the motivation for Lelouch.
That's a weird motivation, man. Like
Well, at first it seems okay, and then he starts getting more and more like creep ass crazy about it.
but see, that's the thing. I guess because in this type of show, you can't really dwell on boring school life. But I feel like they didn't focus enough. Because like, wouldn't there be a better like shift in character afterwards he gets the powers? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. But it happens instantly,
I guess you kind of see it in season two when he's brainwashed, when he's like normal.
and
But
that's
I
when
don't
it's
know.
just stupid.
Yeah, that's like Kingdom Hearts 2 rocks this shit, and
It's also
like
because, yeah, at that point you don't care about the school life now. It's now because now where's all the real shit.
yeah.
But even then, cut to the Black Knights. Among the Black Knights, who matters?
Ogi.
Like, look at this picture for stage 8. Look at all those characters. Just only two of the characters on that screen
They're
matter.
all losers too.
It's Callan and Ogi, and Ogi, even though Ogi doesn't really matter, he's just there to piss you off. Like he's supposed to be
Uh,
the leader, and yet he doesn't do jack fuck, and Luce takes over no problem. And then and Callan's the only one that actually does anything. Like he had the dumbass guy who's there for comic relief. Then you have the two blue hair characters who don't do anything. There's some nerd with glasses, I think, on their team too. He never does anything.
it's funny. Like the Black Knights are like, oh, like holy shit, they're so good, they're so crazy. It's like no, they all suck. It's all because of Lelouch.
And then that gets taken to its like most ridiculous extreme in episode 25, where Lelouch has to leave for a bit, and at that point he's already won the entire battle. Cornelius been taken out. All the main knights dudes been taken out. He's blown up half the city, and he's decimated their forces. Okay, guys, I have to leave. You just finish up here and clean up, okay? And he leaves. Oh my god, what are we gonna do? And they all lose. And it's like, how? They were they had literally everything that had to do with Britannia, and that city was now on fire and burning, and they're all freaking out. Luce pisses off for 5 minutes, and they lose the war. And like, even Callan is like, doesn't somehow know what to do without them
Yeah,
telling him what
that's
to
the
do.
thing. She looks so confused.
He just turns into an idiot. And
Yeah,
it's like, how about you use your big claw and keep killing things? Like
it's
pick up the gun
crazy.
and shoot.
Yeah, I remember that. Or she's just like trying to call in the comms and you want to answer. And she's like, what am I supposed to do?
I know, and it's like, I guess it could be a commentary of what happens when you depend on one person to plan literally everything for you. But come on, they're supposed to be, these are supposed to be like terrorist soldiers, and they don't know how to do anything on their own anymore.
Right?
They're that babied by Lelouch at this point.
Hell, even in season 2, when they like work on their own, oh my god, they're so stupid.
They're pathetic, and then like you see how dumb they are. With there's, I wonder if that's just the whole commentary. They'll be like, yeah, look, these terrorists, they're not crack team in the slightest. They're idiots. Yeah, let them decide on their own. What happens? They betray the one guy who's done everything for them, and then what do they do afterwards? They team up with the Nazis, and then lose.
Yeah, like it's so silly. It takes nothing for like Schneisel to like get them to his side.
Like, where's that meme of the guy putting on the clown makeup? Because you could easily put each stage of the Black Knights' decision making for that.
And it's so dumb too, because it's not like Lelouch, like in quotes, lying to them was that bad. You know what I mean? Like it's so dumb.
Like, what, you thought he somehow did this magic bullshit without doing something weird?
Like one, you're stupid for not thinking that, and two, it's just like, well, who cares if he like brainwashed you guys? Like he just probably made you guys even more competent. You know what I mean? Look how far you guys got.
They accuse him of causing the massacre of Euthanator. That's really the only thing bad that he's done.
And even then, that was an accident.
But for some reason, instead of trying to explain himself, Luce just immediately just tries to go as evil as possible.
Yeah, he gave up on life though, because once he gets outed, he fully admits to Rolo that he gave up on life.
I guess it just feels like it was just there for drama, because like Callan actually stops the Black Knights and is like, okay guys, let's listen to him first, and then Luce starts laughing and pretending
It's so,
and it's like, why? What are you doing, bro?
I guess he doesn't go on a blaze of glory. He's like, oh fuck it, like.
And then he turns into a bit of an edgelord, but at least at that point it's kind of cool, because like that's when he has all the knights bow before him. He's got, like weird purple fire all around him, and that's when he goes and yeah, he had this fucking emo speech.
Oh yeah.
Nobody can go past my despair. Fuck you. I think basically what fucked him up at that point is he thinks not only died because of him.
Oh yeah. It's okay. It's okay. He has Rolo.
Remember when he gets really mad and crushes the Nokia phone in his hands?